Welcome to the Basic FBA to BIP video on the introduction and setup of this process. I'm Tara Yarberry, and I'm a board-certified behavior analyst with Butte County SELPA. Wanted to give you a little bit of background regarding the FBA and the BIP that are in this Basic FBA to BIP process. The first is a functional behavior assessment, referred to as FBA. So FBAs have been demonstrated to improve both the effectiveness and efficiency of behavioral interventions in many settings. They're one of the most effective tools, but they're underutilized in schools. Historically, they've been seen as the strategy of last resort. However, schools can use FBAs to target general student misbehavior before it escalates into recurring issues or more intense situations. A functional behavior assessment seeks to understand why a behavior is occurring, informs the most meaningful staff responses, and guides discipline of daily student misbehavior. The basic FBA to BIP process is implemented across several academic years. It teaches all school staff this highly effective FBA tool and positions students to learn appropriate behavior. The BIP, Behavior Intervention Plan, might also sometimes be referred to as a Behavior Support Plan, or a BSP. A BIP is based on the functional behavior assessment, and it defines behaviors which are impeding learning, and it also documents the plan to address positive and proactive behavior supports, consistent function-based interventions, and the teaching of replacement behaviors which support increased learning. Here's a video that details the BIP process.
Hello and welcome to Teachings and Education, the Behavior Intervention Plan. BIP, designed to replace inappropriate student behaviors with desired behaviors. Educators usually determine the function of the problem behavior through conducting an FBA, Functional Behavior Assessment. With the function of the behavior understood, you can then develop the BIP plan. This plan is usually designed by a school behaviorist. The plan must be easily understood and clearly written. In many cases, these plans become part of the student's individualized education plan known as the IEP. Each plan is specifically tailored to the student and uses proactive and preventative strategies. The BIP team has the responsibility to put the student's necessary supports in place. All staff members must be aware of the student's behavior supports before the first day of implementation on the behavior intervention plan. When everyone is on the same page, then it is the time to implement the plan. Now, simply implementing a plan is not enough. The team must oversee the plan's implementation. Lastly, a BIP must be evaluated for its effectiveness. At this time, we will explore some of the components of the behavior intervention plan. It begins with some general information on the individuals involved in creating and implementing the BIP. Student schedule, case manager contact information. The overall goal of the BIP is to get the students learning in the classroom as opposed to disrupting the classroom. Therefore, it is very important to include replacement behaviors for the student. A teacher cannot have good classroom management if they do not provide good instruction at challenging levels. Behavior plans must have data on student behavior. In some cases, it will contain previous data on which the BIP was built. The procedures for collecting data should also be included. The plan must specifically describe supports for the student. These supports should be individualized and based on the needs of the students. And the last component is the duration of the plan. These plans should not be permanent, but they are fluid. Commit to the plan and allow it to run its course. Then assess what worked.
So to go to this website, you'll find the school-wide training information for the basic FBA to BIP process. There are a few things on this page that are really important to pay attention to. So before you begin, make sure you read the e-learning modules quick reference guide for information about completing the modules. You may need to turn off your pop-up blockers in order to complete it. Right here you can click on it and it'll upload it for you. You'll also need to print out the participant's guide for each module. They are all linked below on this page, which we'll talk more about this bottom section of the page in subsequent videos. They're also linked within the module once you start. So the participant guide is required to complete activities within each of the modules. If you get stuck on a slide, double check to see that you've completed all of the interactions. If you're still stuck, you might try moving the timeline back a little bit and hitting the play button to let it run through the end of the timeline again. I'll also show a video in just a minute about some other strategies or a quick look at what it looks like as you navigate through the modules. When taking the pre-test and post-test, please know that once you hit submit, your answers are locked in and cannot be changed, so be sure to choose carefully the first time. You can only take the post-test once. If you're not happy with your score, you'll need to complete the entire module again to retake the post-test. So again, make sure you're paying attention as you progress. You also might want to take note of the pre-test questions because they are the same same on the post-test. Don't forget to copy or print screen your results page. It looks like this. This is the only way for you to have a record that you completed the module so that you can send it to your site team and make sure that you're documenting that you did, in fact, complete this. As I mentioned before, we'll get to these next steps in subsequent videos. For right now, we're going to talk about the goals of the FBA to BIP process. So the main goals are to build capacity, and how they do this is by implementing things school-wide. Modules 1 and 4 are school-wide trainings that everyone on staff should take. Secondarily, they improve school systems by adding an infrastructure, such as you might see it referred to as a coaching or implementation team. It might even be your PBIS team. It really depends on your school site, but there should be some infrastructure and some leads that you can go to for questions and that are taking all of the modules 1 through 7 and have a deeper understanding of the basic FBA to BIP process. The third goal is to facilitate supportive school culture. And you'll see that these strategies are positive and proactive to really help support that school culture that is a supportive environment for both students and staff. Here's a video to show you a little bit about what it looks like in the modules. We're also offering some external supports here locally for folks in Butte County that are choosing to implement the basic FBA to BIP process. So again, I'm Tara Yarberry and I'm with the Butte County SELPA, and you'll see my email down in the bottom right on the flyer. We're also working with the BCOE Coordinated District Support Team. So Jennifer Garcia is the point person from that department, and she also has her email included down there. Tara, Jennifer, or a combination of us will be providing Monday from 3 to 4 p.m. and Thursday mornings from 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. online office hours, which we affectionately refer to as O-Behave. So these online office hours are a space for questions and concerns related to student behavior generally, classroom management, and positive behavior intervention systems, such as the basic FBA to BIP process. Please feel free to attend, reach out to us via email, and let us know how we can best support your district's implementation of this program.